For my practical for Performed, I'm going to give more of just a presentation and a talk on the kind of theoretical development of a long-term fitness model, right? And what I mean by that is, how can we train in a way that allows us to train for longevity, okay? A lot of things in fitness marketing kind of preach about 6-week this, or like a lot of very fast models of getting you really fit in a very short amount of time. And I want to just kind of talk about how we need to approach things in a way that we need to be thinking about how can we train for the long term. All right. I'm sure a lot of people watching this have heard of high intensity interval training and things like CrossFit, which, don't get me wrong, are all great ways to train for the right type of person. Okay. What I want to talk about is the person who, let's say they want to get into fitness and they haven't really trained in a long time, or if ever, okay? And what is the approach to doing that? For the first thing would be, find yourself a coach who is genuinely interested in your long term, all right? If you find somebody that is trying to fast track you, get you to a point in too short of a time, be a little cautious of that. Have a sit down, have a conversation with somebody where you guys talk about beyond just 6-8 weeks at a time. You guys talk about, longer durations and what your fitness might look like at that period. From there, make sure you have an assessment done, okay? Everybody walking into a door to go to a gym has different movement quality, different injury history, different training history. So make sure that you have some sort of assessment done so that before you start that program, you are put on a program that will actually prioritize things that will address any issues that kind of pop up during that assessment. All right. And then from the actual exercise perspective, once you have those things done, okay, a lot of people jump into these high intensity programs too soon. And that's kind of something that I've really been hitting on lately, is addressing, this fast tracking model that it seems to be catching on pretty quick. So we want to make sure that if we're going to program exercise, we want to look into building a proper strength base. Okay. And I'm not talking about powerlifter strong or anything like that. I'm talking about primal movement patterns. Okay. Your body's basic movement patterns, building a strength base in that. Okay. Building up proper muscular development through those movement patterns to be able to do them properly. And then building up an aerobic base. Okay, so your ability to move and breathe and do those things properly for a sustainable amount of time, all right? If you've done a high intensity workout, you understand that that's an unsustainable form of energy production. So just as an example, if you've ever done an assault bike for 30 seconds all out, you quickly learn that that is not sustainable, okay? Now, the reason I'm pretty passionate about that is because what happens is people jump into these programs, they go 6 weeks and they get spit out the other side, okay? So I don't want people to think that high intensity is the bad thing. It's just that we need to periodize it and sprinkle it in when necessary, all right? So if we kind of take that approach of building the strength base, okay? Building up the tissues that will require or that will be necessary if we want to do some higher intensity stuff, okay? And then building up an aerobic base, being able to do sustainable activity for 20, 30, 45 minutes at a time, upwards of an hour, okay? Sustainable, producing a proper energy for that amount of time. I'm not talking about doing a 60-minute workout where at the end you have to crawl out of the gym. That's not where we want to be, okay? I'm talking about you finish a 60-minute workout and you feel good, okay? So doing your program that way, building that big base, allows you to come down and do higher intensity stuff if needed. And so that's something, the next piece that I want to hit on is ask yourself, do I need to do higher intensity work, right? If you are a general population client who just wants to live long, move well, and feel good, the answer is probably no, okay? Now, if it's enjoyable to you, or if you have some sort of performance things that you're training for, maybe it's your job, maybe you like to play some recreational sports, okay, well, that's a different conversation. We might have to go down that approach. But the big thing is take a perspective of why am I training? How long do I want to be doing this? And I hope that answer is very long. I hope it's ultimately forever, for as long as we want to go. And ask yourself those questions of if that's the case, what does my training look like, and is it going to produce that? Okay. That's all I have for you today. I hope that helps out a couple people in terms of their training and their training methodology, and just maybe taking stock of what they're doing, and maybe backing off the gas pedal just a little bit so you can do this for a much longer time.